Oh, there it was, the man back. Got my friend Chewy backer here. He wanted to get into movies. Anyway, it's raining outside, and I ain't been able to do nothing out there in the yard, and I ain't been able to go nowhere. I can't even sneeze without getting my head wet. Now, I don't know when it's ever going to quit raining where I go up there in the mountains in Loaford and show y'all some things in the wonderful upstate of South Carolina, but until then you're going to have to put up with this junk. I hope I'm in front of it. Yeah. Judy Backer, you in the way. Anyway, I'm going to discuss excuses people used when they were inside the textile mills. We call them cotton mills down here in the southeast. We had plenty of them at one time, and I think there's 11 in Pickens County once. Now there ain't but 2. One of them's a wool mill. The other makes wallpaper. Anyhow, people used to come up with some ditties. And one of the mainstays was my grandpa died. Well, I had a second cousin. About everybody in Pickens Mill at that time was my cousin or related to me. Well, anyway, he called his supervisor, told him his grandpa died, and actually the supervisor let him off. Well, his brother come to work on the second shift. Supervisor went up to him and said, "I didn't expect you to be here." And he said, "Why not?" He said, "Your brother said your grandpa died." And he said, "Yeah, he did 10 years ago." I also seen that one pulled again where I worked. I had a supervisor that was a preacher, and he went into preaching full time, got out of the mill, preaching in a big church over in Greenville now. But this young man, 18-year-old, still living with his parents, come up to him and said, "He's going to have to be off for a day or two." Said, his grandfather died. And he told him, "Yeah, go ahead, be off for that." Well, he didn't think about this guy being a preacher. The first thing he went and done was call this guy's parents, gave his condolences for this feller's father dying. He said, "Yeah, my father did die 4 years ago." Well, that young man got fired. I think that was his third write-up. Now another good one. We had this one feller that could come up with them. About twice a year, he had to have about a week off to get drunk. He's sober as a judge. He's always at work, always there. About once a year, he had to go on a bender for some reason. And he always had the excuse. One time he called up and said he took an X-Lax. It hadn't worked him yet. Yeah, it took a week for it to work him. And then he called up, said a tree fell back of his house. He couldn't come to work. Well, he's out a week. About 6 months later, he called up again. He had to be out from work. Now, everybody knows what he was doing, you know. But boy, this one was a ditty. Said his house was full of fleas and he couldn't get rid of them. You know, if my house is full of fleas, I've been glad to come to work and get away from them. But yeah, he's out another week. Well, yeah, and that's true. We had a fella come in late one day, and his excuse was he run into 2 giant snapping turtles out in the middle of the road making love, and he tried to drag them home to his place and busted 2 axles out of his truck. That actually happened, folks. I know. But the cream of the crop was this feller He called up his supervisor and said, my wife is going to get pregnant at 3 o'clock this evening, and I want to be there when it happens. His supervisor just laughed. He said, well, I've always let a fella off for that. If any of y'all folks out there know any doozies at Top Thieves, well, let me know. I sure would love to hear them. Until the weather gets better, you're going to have to put up with this.